Greetings, residents. Welcome to our front porch chat from wonderful, beautiful Carnwath Farms. We're in the front porch of the administration building, and I hope to see you around here and in our other parks during, the summer weather and summer barbecue season. Main topic today is to talk about sewer and water infrastructure. And this is because we've had a series of discussions with the town board, and I will come back to that. But first I wanted to talk about our flag ceremony. Last night, in between thunderstorm showers, we held our flag burning ceremony out at Slaughterhouse Park, and this is sponsored by our Veterans Advisory Group and President Kevin Hawthorne. We had actually a very beautiful evening because the sun came out, and we had a good flag burning, a respectful memorial for some flags that were torn, dirty, and do that with the cotton flags. We have a huge number of other flags that are rayon, nylon, various synthetic materials, which we only burnt one, and that was a MIA flag that we wanted to honor. The flags that we do not burn are taken over to the burn site that the county has in Poughkeepsie, and those are done also respectfully according to proper protocol. I've shared a number of pictures on our website, town website, and on the Facebook, and we'll be sharing some on the town website. Also, there happened to be a videographer there that we did not invite, and I hope that we see something out of that, filming that they did. So this is part of our ongoing veterans, program initiative. I continue to encourage people to volunteer, and I hope that we'll see a lot of new faces in the months ahead. As you know from my various discussions with you and also in my writings, the Southern Dutchess News, and our board meetings, a major focus of ours over the years has been in obtaining funding for our infrastructure improvements for water and sewer. This is an ongoing process, and we've been very successful to date, and we are now submitting a number of other grant applications in this regard. Water and sewer is certainly a real top focus of ours, along with the health and safety, public security of our residents and of our school children, as you're aware. During our workshop that we had, we focused almost entirely on water and sewer infrastructure. This was 2 weeks ago, and then had some more discussion at our board meeting earlier this week. But for those of you that are particularly from some of the areas that have partial, not complete build out of water, this is really meant to be an update for you, to let you know what we're doing and what your councilmen and women are doing, working with me and our engineers. One of the top priorities, and we hope to get shovel in the ground soon, is really the sewer extension from Wildwood down through Woodhill Green into the village tri-municipal connection. We have the grant monies and the bonding already in place. We're now working on trying to get the right-of-way through Woodhill Green to do that project. But that will enable us to decommission the Wildwood plant. And also we are looking at running water down at the same time we dig the trench. Then if we dig it wide enough, then we can put in piping for the water system. So this is already really funded. So we're on our way to finalizing that and getting that project hopefully done next year. As to other ongoing projects, you've heard about Route 9 going south. while the primary focus on the first phase of it is really along the commercial quarter. But a major reason for doing that is that in order to get to our residents, both water and sewer, which is our top priority, we need to get the line down, Route 9, so then that we can run laterals across, for example, over to Fleetwood, for sewer, Osborne Hill Road, Ketchumtown Road, from the east side of that road. So, that is something that myself, all of our councilmen and women, Angela Bettina are working on, but particularly with Councilwoman Bettina. I want you to know that she's a real champion, working closely with me and our engineers, because Fleetwood is in her district, and this is certainly a top priority. Then to be able to go both east and west laterally off of the Route 9 corridor. So we're continuing to proceed. We're submitting more applications, for funding to take off a major portion of the burden. And then hopefully, as I've had discussions with our businesses, we'll get a business partnership with the business. Our Department of Health, particularly Dan Keeler, who we met with yesterday, is fully on board with this, particularly due to the importance of bringing water and sewer to our residents in the area. In addition, we've been talking about some smaller but equally important projects. One is I'm working closely with Councilwoman Bettina. I want you to know that she is very conscious of and trying to get more water into Chelsea. So am I, fully committed to that. And so we're looking at how to use some of our ARPA funds, these are the COVID relief funds, to better enable more build out in the Chelsea area. But I want to reassure you, the Councilwoman Bettina is very much, pushing for this, working with me, and then we're working with our engineers and lawyers and grant writers to further do that, so we can reduce both the burden from the water point of view as well as the cost, with respect to our taxpayers. In addition, Houstonville is a top priority. We've been working with the Nature Preserve to try to extend water into their particular compound, and that's both off of Old Hopewell Road and the Doe Trail portion of it. We had a major and positive meeting yesterday because of the emergency situation that arose last week. We had to put in a temporary line. I approved that. Mike Tremper and his team really responded quite quickly. The Department of Health was fully on board, and so was Councilman Bill Beal. In fact, Bill Beal and I are working very closely on a bigger Houstonville project. Not only are we addressing this important group of residents, but looking at how we bring water further to Houstonville. So one of the options that we're looking at is connecting water pipe off of the old Hopewell line, perhaps taking it down through Route 9D. So that we can start doing laterals out. Also, we have the Gasland water line, and that we're needing to get a right-of-way so we can take that to Marlerville Road. But the idea would be to start servicing more off the water line. I've gotten the approvals so that we can do the water line connections, the big pipe that went down Old Hopewell, New Hamburg Road. And there's connection points in place. So right now, until we extend the water district, we're working on tenancy agreements to help people tie in. And this is, for example, what we'll be doing with the Nature Preserve. At the board meeting on the 26th, we'll be hopefully passing resolutions, and then they'll be able to get shovels in the ground very soon after that particular meeting. So please stay tuned for that. Back to New Hackensack Road, as I mentioned, we're trying to deal with the Wildwood sewer plant, but we're also looking at water, so then we can start doing lateral lines out, as well as, of course, initially servicing anybody right along New Hackensack Road as we go south. The big area that we've had to deal with is tri-municipal. We've had a lot of discussion at the board level, a total full board consensus on that. and that relates to some of the cost and funding. We really are very reluctant. In fact, I'm very strongly opposed to it unless we get a seat at the table. We don't have a seat at the table. We're the largest user, so we'll continue to be pushing for that. Two other areas, but more importantly, is that when we look at the Ward 4, working closely with Councilman Casella, and this is with respect to the Midpoint Park sewer plant. We're under notices of violation consent decree, which is actually was negotiated in a very positive way with a longer term timeline. But that is one where we have now completed the engineering study. We know the costs for basic repairs, and this is for the I&I issues. In other words, when it rains, there's a lot of water that gets into the system, and this adds further burden to the sewer plant. But the sewer plant is one that we're going to have to decommission, although we're looking at other ways to handle it. And at the same time, as we have to build out the sewer lines, then we're also going to look at building out the water lines as we take that sewage down, most likely to Tri-Muni, although we're exploring a similar another approach would be to East Fishkill. And these are a number of our ongoing infrastructure projects, but the most important. So we want to address Chelsea, we want to address Houstonville, Midpoint Park, Fleetwood, are all on the list of improvements that the board's been discussing. I've been working with our engineers and our lawyers, and I assure you that our councilmen and women are fully engaged in representing your interest in this regard. So if you do have any questions, comments, reach out to your councilman and Councilwoman Bettina. And reach out to me, stop by. I have a lot of residents coming in, having some good discussions with respect to issues that are on their minds. And so please come on by. In any event, stay in touch. And until soon, please stay safe and remain well. Thank you and have a great day.